Ontario is partnering with the federal government to offer temporary tax relief to anyone in the province who buys a new home in the next year. Buyers of newly built homes valued at $1 million or less will not have to pay the 13% sales tax in Ontario. That means a rebate of up to $130,000 for those homes, plus for any homes valued up to $1.5 million. The rebate gradually drops lower for the more expensive homes, but these measures will only last 1 year. Premier Doug Ford is urging Ontarians to take advantage.
If you're in the position to buy a new home, no matter if it's a condo or a townhome or a detached home, please get everything together. You have 1 year to see this $130,000 reduction in cost. Please go out there, talk to your bankers, and start buying the homes.
Ontario Housing Minister Rob Flack joins me now. Nice to see you, sir. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, JP. Great to be with you today.
So your government and the feds are dropping the HST on all new home sales up to a certain price point for the next year. It's not just first-time home buyers who stand to gain from this. Why is this the way to go? How do you think this can help fix the housing crunch?
Well, as I got this job about a year ago, I've traveled the province here, there, and everywhere. And there's been three consistent messages I've received. First is it takes too long to build a house in this province, and it costs too much. And third is the HST has been debilitating in terms of new home construction and costs to get things out, among other things. So we work closely with the federal government, work closely within our own government, listen to stakeholders. We acted accordingly, and today is a great day for people that want to buy a house for sale, a new house for sale in Ontario, up to $130,000 saving. It's a great day for Ontarians and home builders.
So the initiative will cost about $2.2 billion, but you're projecting this tax incentive will only create about 8,000 housing units. So is that really the best use of scarce taxpayer resources? I understand it will create construction jobs, there will be a boost to the economy, there will be these new units created, but really it's relatively few. You're projecting not a huge uptick in the number of housing units that we'll see as a result of $2.2 billion in spending.
Well, if you listen to the Ontario home builders, and they're the closest to it, along with Build in Toronto, there's about 220,000 people employed in the housing sector. And what this initiative will do, we believe, is protect about 100,000 of those jobs. So yes, it'll create some new employment, but most importantly, it's going to protect the jobs that otherwise could be laid off. And in a tough economic scenario caused by a myriad of things, not the least of which is our friend from the South causing economic uncertainty, making people put their thumbs on the pause button. We're hoping that's going to help take their thumbs off the pause button and keep people employed and get more homes built faster.
Let's talk about the threshold. So new homes valued up to $1.5 million can save up to $130,000. Why did you settle on such a high figure? I take it that $1.5 million is really quite higher than the average home price as it is right now in the province.
Well, it is throughout the province, not so much in the GTHA. So we wanted to make sure we had a wide enough swath or blanket to cover new homes sales, new home starts, new home costs. But then again, over the $1.5 million, we figured folks that build bigger houses than that or more expensive houses than that wouldn't maybe need the benefit of an HST. So we're really focused on that market where people can start to afford a brand new house. And remember, this is going to kickstart the housing sector, we believe. Seniors going into a smaller unit, perhaps they buy it, perhaps they rent it. The first-time home buyer can be in the market. We announced that last fall. And the person that wants their forever home or the family, they can now afford to move up into this. So we think it's a really important incentive. It's on for 1 year and 1 year only. So again, we want to kickstart our housing cycle, our housing continuum, and we believe this is an important issue that'll help get that done.
So as you mentioned, the federal and provincial governments have really done a lot on this file already. You've thrown a lot at this problem. You know, Ontario has reduced the development fees, right? There's much more density, up to 3 units per lot. There were already some tax incentives in place. And yet the housing starts in your province were actually lower last year than the year before. According to Statistics Canada data, there were 65,376 units last year built, which is actually lower than any of the previous 4 years. It really seems like a slog. Why is it so hard to make any progress on this file?
because it takes too long and it costs too much to get housing built. And when I took on to this ministry, again, I listened and learned. I'm not a housing expert, but I've been in business my entire life, and I understand one thing, and it's about affordability. And in this province, it's very, very expensive to buy a home. And post-COVID, think about it, we had record starts in 2022. And by the way, we took the PST off on purpose-built rentals, and we had record rental housing starts last year. So again, it worked there. We believe it can work here. But again, post-COVID, construction costs went up, interest rates went up. We had that debilitating carbon tax. There was uncertainty, and then add Trump's misery to this Canadian economy, and people put their thumb on the pause button. Uncertainty is not good in the economy. So what we're trying to do is create certainty, help people take their thumb off the pause button so they can go ahead and have confidence to reduce the cost it will take to buy a new home, to build a new home. And think about it. You save $130,000. That's probably a savings of $600 to $650 a month that you're not going to have to pay interest on. You can put your kids through hockey. You can add to your RSP. There's lots of things you can do for that money. Gas prices are high. You can afford to make a car payment. Lots of things you can do with those savings. So we're hoping it's going to also help stimulate the economy to help people have confidence in Ontario and in Canada.
In 2022, your government promised to build 1.5 million homes over the next decade. So we're about 4 years into that promise. And by my count, you're at about 325,000 housing starts to this point. Do you think it's still possible to achieve that ambitious target? Is it still achievable? Can you build that many more homes in the time frame you have left, given some of the challenges we just talked about?
That's a great question. And so what I say when I get asked this question is I'm really not focused on the 10-year goal. I'm focused on getting this housing industry kickstarted and into action because it's been dormant. If you take a look when we came out with that number in 2022, we had record housing starts. They've simply gone down since then. So again, I'm not focused on 1.5 million homes. I would like to see us get above what we produced 2 years ago and continue to see it grow, because once we kickstart this housing cycle, it's going to help the whole housing continuum. So again, this spring, we got a construction season just before us. We're hoping this is going to be an incentive for people to get out and order their new home. And again, they can start the home within this year. It doesn't have to be finished. At least let's get it kickstarted. Let's get it started to get people to buy homes, affordable homes, create affordability in the market, and we can see our housing economy grow, because everyone deserves a roof over their head. It's the quintessential Canadian dream, home ownership. We have to keep that dream alive.
I take your point. You're not necessarily focused on something that may happen in 10 years' time. But is it fair to say that that goal of 1.5 million homes by 2032, have you parked that goal? Is that just something that can't be done now?
I wouldn't say I parked it or we parked it. I'd say, do I wake up every morning thinking about 1.5 million homes? Absolutely not. I'm worried about the next month, 2 months, 3 months to get this housing cycle started. And that's exactly what this initiative today is about to do. New houses in Ontario, to build a new house, you're going to have up to $130,000 savings on a new house as of April 1st. That's what we're focused on. And then we're about the big picture later on.
All right, let's leave it there. Thank you so much, Ontario Housing Minister Robert Flack. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, JP. Much appreciated.